But
Cool.
my plan is to do some editing in the future, but you know how that thing that thing called time.
Yeah, it's a tyrant.
Free time? Never heard of it.
Yeah.
We're live on YouTube now.
Excellent. Very roughly, you usually go hour and a half, 2 hours. What's
Oh no, we won't go more than hour and a half. Is be the worst.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll keep it.
We were a little bit more professional and streamlined on the show.
Yeah, Chuck. If you'd be on Mac Voices Live, then yeah, we might be doing 2 hours.
Yeah, no worries. And thanks also for adjusting your schedules to work with mine, because I just literally got off call with Japan like 5 minutes ago. So
no problem.
Yeah, it wasn't on the schedule when you and I talked, Dave, a little bit. So I was like, oh, that's 5 o'clock my time, 7 o'clock your time, no worries. And then
yeah,
but they're rolling out an electronic lab notebook globally, so it's a pretty big deal. So this is like a monthly touch point with all regions.
Gotcha.
And it's kind of nice that it's, well, I don't know if Europe was represented by someone on the East Coast, but it's just nice for me not to have to be on these 6 a.m. calls, because as you know, I'm not a morning person.
Yep.
So
Jeff's still struggling. Oh wait, I'm looking at YouTube. Nope, not yet.
No worries.
We'll give him
time. We're not doing Twitch or anything like that, right?
No.
Okay, because I know Twitch or somebody has weird rules about like, oh, you can't be drinking on this live stream. And I'm like, oh, make a little glass of wine. Somebody's got it. I don't remember if it was Twitch or Discord. Something was weird. And they're like, yeah, just make sure you either go off camera or something. And this was a year or two ago. They may have loosened it up.
Yeah. No, we're just on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
There you are on Mastodon.
Oh, you got my new link?
Friends of DeSoto.
DeSoto, yes. It is the geekiest Star Trek Mastodon server you could possibly find. So it seemed like a natural fit.
For sure.
As in Robert DeSoto, Captain of the Hood.
Very good. Best boss I ever had.
Man, Ben, how many you have Mastodon instances you have?
I have 3, but they all link to the same one.
I thought I was bad.
Yeah, because I joined Mastodon.cloud back in 17 or whatever when we were all TikTok.
Yeah, so did I.
Twitter.
I was on 2018.
And I just, pretty much laid dormant. I mean, I used it a little bit for a while, and then, other than who was our other local guy? Lives near Kennedy Split. Blanking on his name.
Indy.
He's a writer. He's been around for a long time.
You say Indy?
What's that?
Did you say Indy?
No, he's been around on Mastodon for a long time. He's an independent writer.
Oh, independent. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Really blanking on the name. Sorry.
Well, I have an In Touch with iOS Mastodon instance.
I saw that you just posted. Sweet.
Both places.
Nice.
That one didn't translate, of course. Oh, did it? Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I see both.
There's Jeff.
Mr. Gamut. He's probably getting set up.
He made it.
I'm maybe. There we go.
Now we can hear you.
Hey. So here's my working hypothesis. This is a Mac issue. Because this is the second time that I've had a problem where DNS just completely stops working.
Wow.
And restarting the modem, restarting the Eero, that doesn't solve the problem. The only thing that seems to fix it last time and this time was rebooting my computer. And now here we are. So
do you DNS locally or on your router end, or both?
Both.
Okay.
That's weird. I mean, we're both running Apple Silicon, Jeff, and I've never had anything like that.
Yeah, it is weird.
I agree. It's very weird. So, what I'm wondering is if there's something unique about my whole setup that's causing the problem.
All right. Go to this one. Oh, come on. Why am I not logged in? Bear with me here, finishing off.
Ben, I have a question for you.
42.
Yes, thank you.
Good answer.
Are you running Ethernet and Wi-Fi simultaneously on your computer?
Nope, just Wi-Fi.
Okay.
I have Ethernet running. Wi-Fi is on, but not connected to my network. So I can do things with like the watch to unlock.
Yes, I have Wi-Fi turned on and on the network so that I can do handoff continuity and everything else. But I also have Ethernet connected as my primary connection. So I
Right.
have that solid connection.
Hmm.
Barry, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too, sir.
Oh, hi, Dave.
Hi.
Imagine that. Dave showed up to his own show.
Yeah, amazing.
It is.
Well, thank you all for having me on.
Oh my gosh. It's been like way too long. I look back,
Yeah.
it's like I've been in quite a few years. Since
Well,
you've been
didn't
on
I
the
do
show.
one
Anyway.
at your
Now
house?
it's a party.
Yeah, we did one at your house and we did one at my house.
That's right. Yeah. And here I am now with the fancy microphone holder.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'm
least it
gonna
keeps-
have to step up my game. I mean,
Very
all I
nice.
have is a lousy boom arm.
Yeah. Allison shamed me into at least
Yeah.
bringing the microphone from Chicago to San Francisco. So that was a good start.
That's definitely a good start. You know, I think I'm gonna have to send a message to Blue and ask them why all they're doing are these lame boom arms with with cable channels and stuff when they should be really stepping it up.
That's right. All right. We look good live. We got a few people already in there. Hey, Paul, how you doing? Vegas was pretty awesome. Thanks for asking.
Oh, I should hop in the live stream chat.
And let me go.
Is that on YouTube?
It is.
Mhm.
I won't get feedback or anything, will I?
Just keep muted.
All right.
Oh man, I get feedback all the time, and it's usually things like stop talking.
Well, yeah. We like to provide you that feedback.
And I do appreciate that.
Yep, and that just Jeff's cat.
Right?
Cat.
Ne-
AKA the little critter that was trying to open the door during the big show today.
Office manager.
That's right. So I'm in the middle of apartment hunting because the place I'm at, they're not renewing anyone's leases. So they can gut the places and remodel them and charge way more. So place I checked out today, I really liked it. So I'm filling out the lease application, and there's a space where you fill in information about your pet, and so they want to know it's a cat or a dog, what breed, and they want to know your pet's name. So I type cat, and
Sure, that went over really well.
I'm yeah. Someone must be thinking that I'm just a jerk. I mean, they're not wrong, but it's not for that.
Yeah. All right. You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I am ready. This is episode 248. As soon as I start audio hijack, I will start.
Good call.
Caught that. All right. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to episode 248 of In Touch with iOS, the show that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies. I am your host, Dave Ginsburg, and I am just extremely excited to have a returning guest to the show, Mr. Barry Falk. How are you doing, Barry? So glad you're here.
Hey, Dave. Good to be back. It's been a long, long time. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yes, it's been way too long, but
you've been spawning other guest hosts, or I should say partners on your podcast since that last been on.
It's been some changes, but that's okay. I mean, that's because we got these two great guys here. Ben Rathick is here. How you doing, Ben?
I'm doing great, Dave. I almost said Jeff.
Well, that's good. You could say Jeff, because Jeff Gammon is here as always. Thanks for being a Jeff. How are you?
I'm well. It's great to be here. And thanks to Barry, I now have this image in my head of you swimming upstream, spawning, and now here we all are. Hi, Dad.
That's right.
Welcome to In Touch with Salmon.
Yes.
There we go. We got a lot of great stuff. I mean, I'm back from vacation. We missed the week before, but I'm glad to be back this week. And lots of news stories, and we've got WWDC announced, iOS 16.4, and we're going to talk a little bit of travel with Barry, since he is the roving reporter and avid traveler. So we'll be talking about that, and maybe some other things that might be coming up here in a little bit. But let's go ahead and start with the news for this week. First news story is that Apple did announce WWDC is going to be taking place on June 5th through June 9th. This was announced last week. So it will be taking place during that time. And just like the past events, it'll be an online event for the most part. And it is now going to be open to all developers at no cost. They will be doing lots of online sessions and the Swift Student Challenge, and they are going to have another event as well. They offered it to developers, but of course that's been since filled up quickly at Apple Park, so people can watch it live on tape. This is going to be exciting times, and with you, Barry, being out there in beautiful Silicon Valley, are you going to go to WWDC?
So I did apply, because they had basically a lottery system, and maybe I can take advantage of your pressness and see if I can get a press pass from In Touch with iOS. But I did apply. Unfortunately, I didn't get it. But to your point, I'm about 45 minutes away from where I'm working. So I will probably take the day off and head down there. I know some people are talking about going to the event, regardless if they get tickets or not. So there might be some of these, lack of a better term, those alt conferences.
Yeah, the alt conference.
Hang around there. So looking forward to it. Just since I'm here, I'm like, what a great opportunity. So I think that'll be the plan. So I've already got the date planned off.
That's awesome. Jeff, what do you think? You think it's going to be something that we're going to be excited for this year? Or is it just the same stuff we have every year?
I think, okay, it's going to be exciting for us because we're going to see if things we've been predicting are happening or not. For the Muggles, I don't know if it'll be exciting. My Jedi instincts are telling me that there's going to be at least one announcement that becomes like evening news topic.
Oh, yeah, that's probably right. Yeah, they're always, there always is that the day of, you always hear them. Oh, Apple's got their big event this year.
Yeah,
and it's going to be exciting.
There'll be a thing that's beyond just here's what's new in iOS and Mac OS. There'll be something else that becomes the latch for the evening news discussions.
Maybe an iMac, or that going to come soon, probably sooner than later. Maybe Mac Pro, who knows? They could potentially use that event to do that, but
this would be the time to announce a Mac Pro because it's the appropriate audience for making that announcement.
Absolutely. Any other thoughts with you, Ben? Oh, go ahead, Barry.
Mac Pro. Oh, go ahead, Barry.
No, I was curious from a Silicon perspective if you think the M3 is going to be announced or if it was going to stick to like the M2 Pro or Ultra.
To be perfectly honest, I think it's too soon for the M3 series,
Yeah,
especially with how soon or how recently the M2 Pro and Max were released. But I mean, it would be the perfect time for that Mac Pro, since that would be the official end to the Apple or Intel to Apple Silicon transition. I think it would be also the perfect time for a rumored new product category, should the rumors be true. Of course, if those rumors aren't true, well, Apple's going to hit the news because of all the external hype.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yep. They'll okay, we'll use the headset as the example. They will either be in the news, Apple is late to the game getting in on VR headsets, or Apple is falling farther behind in the VR headset space because they didn't release their new product.
Yeah. Or Apple's charging $3,000 for what amounts to a developer kit. And you can't get it right now, even though there's no software.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they did that when the M1 was about to be introduced with that Mac Mini. So,
Yep.
so definitely can be interesting. We'll be covering here. We've got at least 2 months before that's going to happen. So lots more things will happen before then. Speaking of more things happening here, Netflix has a cheaper ad-supported plan that's now available on the Apple TV. This week, Netflix brought an ad-supported plan to the Apple TV, which means subscribers who have the cheaper plan can now watch the content through their set-top boxes from Apple. They weren't able to do that when they introduced this back in November. So I guess Netflix got smart, and they're seeing how the basics with ad plan is working out pretty well for them for that $60.99 a month, which is $3 cheaper than their basic plan with no ads. So what do you think, Jeff? Is this a good thing that Netflix did?
I think it was a necessary thing. And so by extension, that means it's a good thing because it was an appropriate business move. I think they should have just done it at the beginning when they said, here's the new tiers, and they work on everything.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
a little late on that one, but okay, they're doing it now.
Ben, your thoughts?
Yeah, this is necessary. It would be something I'd be very interested if T-Mobile wasn't paying for my Netflix for me.
Yeah, me too.
But I think we've gone to the point where we're either at or past the price where consumers will pay for something. And to drive further subscriber growth or even retention, I mean, advertisements are the only way to go.
Yeah, seems to be. What do you think, Barry?
Yeah, I generally agree. I'm not a fan of ad tiers myself personally, but it also makes me have tough choices because I won't subscribe across the board. So I do jump on and off between services when there's a particular show I might be interested in.
Right.
So I get this. You both mentioned the T-Mobile, which since I'm old and I now am eligible for the Magenta Max, whatever old people's program, that gives me two SD streams for free. And you can upgrade to a high def tier, which is I think it's only $7. So it actually, essentially is the same thing as going the ad route. And I believe Verizon has some of their plans have Netflix as well. So I get it. Not particularly a fan, and frankly, if it wasn't included with T-Mobile or Verizon, I wouldn't subscribe at this point. There's nothing that's for me personally that I'm interested in, but that can always change.
We subscribe to the HD plan and just pay the extra couple bucks for what T-Mobile's already giving us. So it's not a bad deal at all. So
No.
we can't complain whatsoever. So and then you can see it on 3 screens, I think, at a time. 3 or 4
Yeah,
screens.
and I mean, again, they have these different tiers, right? And with mine, they threw in Major League Soccer on Apple TV.
Yep. we got that.
Plus, which was nice. They have MLB for a year. They also threw in a couple other things. I think
Well,
they have
Paramount Plus. They had it for a year. And
Yep. So,
And
yeah.
free Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
some
Right.
smart
If you
shopping.
didn't-
If you have that, if you're eligible or can switch over to them, I think that's a pretty strong program they have.
yeah, we'll definitely see where that goes. But
So
speaking of
there-
T-Mobile and
I'm
go ahead.
totally derailing us. So Barry, I decided to look up Magenta Max because I didn't even know about this.
Right.
And I bring it up and it's like age 55 plus. And immediately I'm like, oh, I'm in a new demographic now.
Yes, yes, we are.
I probably should explore that, but I do have a family
Um,
plan with 8 people on them, so
Yeah.
I mean,
So, but I'm
may not
looking at
benefit.
everything that's in here. And I mean, that's cool. At the same time, now that I'm on Mint,
Right, and they're owned by T-Mobile, so I don't know how that would work.
well, not
Or
quite
will be.
yet.
Oh, okay.
It's in
Yeah.
process.
So yeah, Mint's still a better deal for what I need.
Sure.
But now I know about the old people plan.
Yes. Yes.
We're old. We're old. Speaking of MLB, I was a little concerned that T-Mobile wasn't going to have a partnership with MLB, but they did, and they offered the MLB at bat, or I'm sorry, MLB TV access last week, as we record. That just expired on the 4th, but they have now announced a renewed partnership with Major League Baseball through 2028. So they'll be subscribers. They'll be getting for at least the next 6 years for free. So I think that's exciting, especially a few of us here are baseball fans, and you get to keep that. Except for
what gave you that impression, Dave?
yeah. Well,
All right, I
you
gotta
have to
go. I gotta leave the show. Bye.
I was going to say he's got to go get his socks hat. So that's exciting. I think this is some good news with T-Mobile. I'm sure Barry, you're happy with this because I mean,
Oh,
especially you can watch
absolutely.
you can watch the White Sox from San Fran and not.
Well, from here I can actually watch it. Don't get me started on blackouts because
We've had that.
I have
discussion.
6 of them.
yeah, Ben, and I'm sure Ben, you get really hit hard in Iowa. I know that's a problem there.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping perhaps with the Valley Sports Diamond bankruptcy that maybe things will start to change.
They need to.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, you
Oh,
can
and
add
it-
anything you'd like?
I was just going to say, if you're also an MLB at bat watcher, they have something called the Big Inning. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Mhm.
So it's kind of a cool, way of wrapping up. They have it. I think it's like 3 hours in the evening where they have games that are live. They'll cut in when something might score or the 9th inning. Similar to the NFL Red Zone, it's actually really exciting to see games across multiple things. And I was able to actually watch the end of the Sox game the other day. I was in Chicago. I couldn't watch it because it was blacked out, and yet I could see it through there. So that was nice.
All right. So here's my little take. Anything that carriers can do like this that's popular with their customers is smart because it's going to reduce churn.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I mean,
And I save money by doing it. I mean, not only just by lowering my rate plan, but then I'm getting all these freebies. So it ends up being a win-win in that respect. So Jeff, to your point, 100% agree.
So
yeah,
exciting times.
I can't watch the team that I like, but right before the show, I was watching the Braves and Padres game. I can get basically all the baseball my heart desires as long as I don't actually care about the team.
Yeah, it's just crazy. You got what?
I'm laughing
4 or 6
because
teams
that
you
is-
can't watch.
That is so
Yeah.
stupid.
It is ridiculous. And that's
I
why,
feel-
there's
yeah.
talk about Apple getting involved with the NFL. I was excited because they were really pushing hard to get rid of those blackout rules.
Mhm.
They did it for soccer. They did it for Friday Night Baseball. But obviously at the end of the day, the almighty dollar worked against them and the owners or whomever. That's unfortunate.
I said it's crazy for you, Ben. There's like 6 teams you can't watch because of where you're located.
Cubs, Sox, Brewers, Twins, Royals, Cardinals, all blacked out.
Crazy.
Yet you don't have a professional team in Iowa. It's absolutely asinine.
Well, I mean, we have the iCubs, but
Well,
AAA.
Yeah.
you got Field of Dreams, so
You got
but
that.
I mean,
too.
it's just like, yeah, I can count the number of Royals and Twins fans I have actually met in Eastern Iowa on one hand.
Yeah, there are not too many of those too. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on to our next story. Going back to Apple here, Pages, Numbers, and Keynote apps were updated for the iPad. They now support the Apple Pencil Hover. They were updated with that, and Apple says the feature makes it easy to navigate, write, sketch, and illustrate with greater precision on the latest 11-inch or 12.9-inch iPad Pro. The latest iPad Pro models can detect the second generation Apple Pencil and while it hovers 12 millimeters above the display, allowing users to preview the drawing before they actually make it. So this is a good thing. I mean, Apple continues to evolve with all three of the iWork products. And Barry, you being a big iPad user, and I'm sure this is something that you probably like.
yeah, I'm pleased at the level of updates that they've been doing. And to your point, I mean, I'm an iPad first kind of user, so I love the touch interface. And for my own use and for general work light stuff, I will absolutely use the iWork suite. I just think it works really well, especially just the quality of the presentations I can create, the charts and graphs and numbers look outstanding. So that is my go-to choice for those tools. I still sometimes have to dip into the Microsoft suite, which, to be fair, Microsoft's done a really good job in that space too. I use Outlook all the time, and I'm like, the Outlook client is frankly pretty darn good. I use it for my own personal mail.
It's got a lot better.
Yeah. So no, you're right. It's been exciting. I don't use too much of the hover in certain things, but again, just to see the general improvements, I found that sharing and collaboration is getting pretty solid on these, and so I'm just hoping they continue down that path.
Yep. Jeff, something that you utilize on iPad?
I do not have an iPad that supports hover.
That's right.
Getting a Silicon Mac was actually a high priority. So now that I've done that, I can start thinking about being responsible with my money on buying a new iPad.
No.
You're responsible with your money?
No.
Is there any?
I don't think any of us are.
Yeah. Are there any rumors of a larger screen iPad? I know it comes around every now and then, like a 16-inch display or even larger.
Nothing lately.
Nothing lately. Yeah. Honestly, I'm surprised hover hadn't been in the iWork. I'm gonna go old school in the iLife suite.
iLife suite.
Life. Yeah, it's going old school.
You mean Claire's Works?
Yeah. I cannot believe that Claire's Mail did not have hover support.
Ben, do you have a later model iPad or no?
My iPad, my mother actually stole because she broke hers. But like Jeff, I'm rather surprised this didn't already happen.
Right.
But I mean, it's definitely good for iPad users.
Oh, for sure.
And hopefully future Mac users want to put in a touch screen.
Exactly.
A touch screen on my Mac.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. One thing Apple is going to be doing is they're going to be removing the Keynote app's presentation sharing feature in a future update. Apple plans to remove that feature. According to a new support document that Apple actually published, the feature allows for a presentation to be played over the internet in Keynote app on the Mac, iPhone, and iPad. Apple recommends using screen sharing to share your Keynote presentation in apps such as FaceTime, Zoom, WebEx, with the steps outlined in the document. So I wonder if anybody's going to be very unhappy with this, because I used this a fair amount of times when I would do a presentation.
I'm pissed off.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead. What do you think?
Okay, so here's the deal. If Apple really wants people to look at the Pages Number Keynote suite as professional tools, then don't fracking take professional features out.
Yeah.
Period.
I agree.
Yep.
Something you use,
Yeah,
Barry?
Microsoft would like to.
Yeah, no, I do not, but generally speaking, I tend to, have to convert it either to a PDF or to a PowerPoint, depending on the work environment I'm
Yeah.
in.
Us enterprise users. What were you gonna say, Ben? I'm sorry, to interrupt you.
Apple be getting a nice gift basket from Redmond for this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that I like
This-
that. That's good.
This is such a bad move for optics.
Yeah,
My guess is that not enough people are using the feature, and Apple knows how their features are being used because they're collecting all kinds of data. So my guess is that they're finding that there's such a small number of people using the feature that they don't feel it's worth the money to maintain it. However, with as much money as Apple makes, for the optics, I think it's a necessary feature. Even if like 5% of their users take advantage of it, it should still be there because it's an important checkbox on your professional user feature list.
Absolutely. A couple more stories before we move on to our topics. Apple Pay Later has launched this past week or so. It's the buy now, pay later financing with the 0% interest. It's going to begin rolling out in phases, they say, inviting select users to access a pre-release version of it. And it'll be coming in the coming months. So we've talked about this before. Basically, it's a financial service that Apple is going to be administering to allow customers in the United States to split purchases up into four equal payments across 6 weeks, no fees or interest. The features will be available anywhere in Apple Pay is accepted online or in app. It was actually announced at WWDC 2022, but it's now just beginning to launch. So, giving people some flexible payment options if they don't want to use their Apple Card or any other type of option, and then they don't have to get a credit pull. So if they decide they want to do this and just split it up in 4 payments, it's not a bad deal. What do you think, Barry?
Yeah, you see that in other services, right? Other financial institutions provide the services, so I think it makes sense. And certainly if people are buying the higher ticket items, which is what Apple is selling, such an iPhone or a Mac and so forth, and then it spills into other domains that you might want to purchase. So I think it makes sense. It doesn't bother me that Apple plays in the financial world. I think at the end of the day, they want to control the whole thing.
Why not? Why not?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Ben?
I think I definitely trust Apple on this more than I do Square or any of the other
Yeah.
players. This is another way to get revenue for Apple, increases the user's buying power. So, hopefully it's something that is at the Apple Store, but it looks like it's going to be one of those things that you can use anywhere as long as you're using Apple Pay.
Yeah, true. Any last thoughts, Jeff, before we move on?
If you want to keep people in your walled garden, and I'm using that in a larger sense than the App Store, you want to make it very easy and enticing to not open the gate and leave the garden. This is a tool to help keep people in the garden.
There's Kat.
And Kat is trying to get
Yep,
out of
she's at it
the
again.
metaphorical garden.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Sonos has just come out with some new speakers, which look pretty awesome. They did announce this week that they're going to have support for Apple Music spatial audio playback on some of the compatible Sonos speakers and soundbars, as well as the newly released Era 300. It of course, we know spatial audio simulates surround sound, makes it seem like it's audio coming from all around you in a 360-degree listening experience. And Apple Music offers all kinds of songs for that. And also Sonos announced that the Era 300 and Era 100 speakers will now have AirPlay 2 support for wireless streaming on audio from Apple devices. So it's going to be definitely something interesting, Jeff. You the audio man, you are. What do you think? This is something that's going to sound good?
Considering Sonos's track record, yeah, this is going to sound good. And this is another opportunity for people to, or for Apple to keep people in that metaphorical garden.
Absolutely. And then Barry, was this you use these kind of speakers? Do you have a Sonos? Or
I actually do not. I mean, I've certainly heard a lot about them, and from everybody that I've talked to, very, very good feedback about it. I've just, to Jeff's point of some walled garden, I'm just all in on the HomePod Mini world. When I moved out here, since I'm basically by myself, I'm like, well, I'll just put a few HomePods here and there, and I actually have 10 HomePods. There was some really good sales going on. So, and I'm like, my logic was, I did take some, the small ones. I did take a 4 from my house. And I bought a 6-pack, and I bought a 6-pack.
I bought a 6-pack.
I bought a 6-pack.
I'm back. I think we have a show.
Barry, this is why I love you.
and
we all love you.
Well, thank you. And I love them. So, but yeah, kudos to Sonos for supporting this. I think it's a smart move instead of trying to say, no, we're not going to play with Apple. I think that would have been disadvantageous to them.
Yeah. What do you think, Ben?
Ben bought a 6-pack.
He's buying one now with Apple Pay later.
Yeah. I mean, I used to be a big Sonos guy. I would still be a Sonos guy if they had supported Siri instead of gone all in on their own virtual assistant. But I have to say, for someone in the Sonos ecosystem, this sounds like a major step forward.
Yeah. I mean, I've got
especially since it not only supports especially since it not only supports the new Era 300, but also the Arc and Beam soundbars.
Yep.
Dave, which one did you say you had?
I have the Sonos Move. There was a.
Is it a portable one or?
Yeah, of course. Chuck always likes to sit when I have it like handily available right here at my fingertips. So
everything's within reach for Dave.
It's with that. There's the Sonos Move.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, nice 20th anniversary gift from work. So
very cool.
So got some amazing sound, and it like you said with the assistants, it doesn't do Siri unfortunately, but it does do the A Lady and the G Lady. So, but you have to choose one or the other. You can't do both. But yeah, I think this is a great move ahead, and I'm sure I heard there are already rumors that the Move there might be a Move 2, the new model might be coming out, and I'm sure they'll add that support with that one. But I've had this thing 3 years now, so but like I said, Sonos makes some good stuff. That's for sure. So last story here, Apple services except iCloud will stop working on some older software versions. That's what this just announced a couple days ago here as we record. All services for except iCloud will stop working on older iOS, macOS, watchOS, and tvOS versions starting in early May. This was information shared out there as kind of a rumor, but it's got a proven track record. So that means you go iOS 11 and lower, and I think the usual suspects. You can see this in the show notes, but I'm kind of not surprised that Apple is finally starting to put these older versions back into the history books here, because it's very difficult to continue supporting these older versions as time goes on here. I mean, most software vendors do that, and Microsoft does it with Windows and others. So, what do you think, Barry? I'm not surprised, right?
No, not. And I also understand from a support perspective, right? Other than perhaps certain types of security fixes, at some point you need to deprecate support for older systems. And again, to your point earlier, I'm sure Apple sees the volume at each operating system level, and they're like, okay, we're down below 5%. There's a friend I have that is let's just say he borrowed some software many years ago, and he refuses to update his Mac. It's like 11, 12 years old. And of course, the thing is, it works great. It's slow, but it still works fine. And he doesn't want to upgrade because he will lose access to
his borrowed software.
His borrowed software. And so he's like, well, how come I have trouble with the iCloud keychain syncing and stuff? I'm like, dude, sorry, I am not going to support you. You're way behind and stuff. And then he gets, all indignant. Well, I'm not going to pay, whatever company. And I'm like, well, that's your choice, but then you're also missing out. So yeah, it makes total sense on Apple's part.
Any more thoughts, guys? Jeff?
I have a hypothesis.
I thought you would.
Okay, so first, Apple had previously said that older versions are going to lose support for services. What we haven't had is any sort of real time frame until this whoever it was said it's in May.
Right.
Here's my hypothesis to go along with this. Assuming it is in May, part of the reason Apple is dropping support goes beyond this stuff is old. We're just deprecating the old things. It's because they are changing architecture with these services in such a way that you need to have much more modern versions of the operating system on your devices to take advantage of things.
That makes sense.
Makes sense. Anything, Ben, before we move on?
Yeah, if your machine is so old it qualifies for the T-Mobile Magenta Max 55 plan by itself, it's time to upgrade.
There you go. Also, pay for your software.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's my message every time I talk to him, and he's like, "Oh, he goes off about subscription." I'm like, "Look, I understand. However, welcome to 2023."
Does he pay for his cable?
Your internet?
I actually suspect he's not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's
he's on the neighbor's Wi-Fi.
I think there's that, and I believe his a family member pays for his cellular service.
Okay.
So yeah, he's a real. Let's just say he's very frugal.
That's the way it goes. All right, that was the news for this week. Let's go on, move on to topics. Beta is going to be out for this week, but first I wanted to talk, since we were off last week, I wanted to make sure we covered the release of iOS 16.4. That was released on March 27th with not a huge amount of fanfare, but it is out. They've added so many things we've been talking about over the course of the last month or so when this was released. We got the links in the show notes here to go back and through that again. Barry, anything notable to you with 16.4? Before, of course, you're already on beta, I know, but I mean,
you don't seem shocked.
No.
Yeah, I'm the idiot that downloads it the day it's released. But I do like it, and it's typically the 0.1 release, but this year it's the 0.4 when they release the updated emojis. And part of that is because now there are friends that I have that don't necessarily pay attention to upgrades, but they, for whatever reason, the emoji updates, they're all over. So then I can make sure they're at least on the current operating system. We don't have to worry about as many security vulnerabilities. So that one was a huge plus. I know there's obviously other features, but strangely enough, that's the big one.
Hey, if it gets people to upgrade and install security patches, start sending them turkey emoji.
Yeah.
And when all they get are little blocks, tell them update and you get to see what I sent you.
Yep. Notable, the voice isolation was added for the phone calls. I don't know. Have you guys used that at all? I haven't tried it yet. But
it's one of those things where I want to try it, but I realize it's 2023. I just don't make that many phone calls.
Phone calls.
Yeah. Nailed it there, Ben.
Yeah, right on for that. So, as I said, this panel will not be too excited about that. So, but they do have voiceover support for maps in the weather app, and duplicate albums and photos, expand to support support and detect duplicate photos. So there's a number of great features that were added, which was a good thing to see. But before that all happened, then the next day you already got rumors that 16.4.1 is going to be launching with some bug fixes. And Apple is testing that right now. It has been independently confirmed, and that is being worked on internally, but there's no it's unclear to when this is going to be released. Usually dot ones, as we know, are pretty much just a bug fix kind of thing. So I don't see us being too overly concerned about it, other than it probably still have some security updates, I would bet. What do you guys think?
Probably.
Yep. Other things in there, tvOS 16.4 came out, and as we always know, tvOS never really has anything huge that's announced. It did add dim flashing lights as an accessibility option to automatically dim the display of the video when it flashes.
That's a huge feature.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's a huge feature. The lighter strobe effects that are detected in the video. So I think that alone, that's a standout new feature that we can really actually finally say that tvOS has something practical.
I would just throw is an aside, because I moved out here. So my situation is I basically have my own apartment near where I'm working, and Apple TV is awesome. I mean, it's one of those things, because I don't watch a ton of TV, but just to have one thing to focus on and just have it manage what I want. It's been really a positive experience. So that's been a huge plus. So that I did bring out the 4K with me. Now I don't even have a 4K TV, but
I don't either. I've got 4Ks.
Yeah.
No, I 100% agree with you on that. In fact, I've got too many of them now, all over the house. But they are great. They definitely are. Also, WatchOS came out as well with its update, WatchOS 9.4, which did add AFib history expansion and changed the mute gesture to prevent accidental alarm cancellation. What a concept that is. People were actually canceling their alarms inadvertently without being aware of it, and then they end up oversleeping when they are using their alarm on their Apple Watch. But Apple Watch continues to evolve, and it continues to do more cooler things, and I think we got a lot more cool things to look forward to on the watch as well. And with that, let's move into beta. A couple things I did miss here. Apple has made available the new home architecture update once again. Once 16.4 came out. I don't know if you've tried that yet, Jeff, because I know we've talked about that now.
Nope.
Stay
not
away.
Going near that. Nope.
Stay away.
Nope.
Stay away. So we'll let them beta test it themselves. We'll see what happens in 16.5, right?
Yeah, I beta test enough stuff for Apple without being an official beta tester. They're on their own with this one.
Yeah. I agree with you. So be aware of that. And Apple did expand the emergency SOS via satellite to 6 more countries. So you have it in Austria, Belgium. Patrice is going to be happy about that. And Italy and Luxembourg and the Netherlands and Portugal. So they're expanding upon that too. So Apple's pretty serious about that emergency SOS. So it's good to see.
As it should be.
Absolutely. So speaking of moving on to beta, iOS 16.5, iPad OS 16.5 was seeded this week, and the public beta came out just shortly thereafter. And notably, they are still learning to what was released in this update, but our resident beta tester, Barry, can tell us what he's experiencing so far with some new stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the way it is, I just see the little badge appear and I download it and install it, and it's not the wisest thing, I know, but it is who I am.
Yes.
But I did know there was a couple features that I saw, like the sports tab.
Sports tab, yeah, that's it.
And I am a sports fan, so that one is a kind of a nice feature for me. And the Siri screen recording, that is handy, because I don't do it a lot. But I do find it's like, oh yeah, I got to go control center. I got to
you got to go all these steps. Yeah.
So that, I mean, it's a quality of life improvement. So I thought that was great. So we'll see what else comes out. I assume this is the last one before WWDC.
You would think. So, but good to see. I like that screen recording. I want to try that. See how it goes on my beta device, of course.
You're smarter than I am, sir.
So yeah, other than that, like I said, there really isn't much as far as any updates as of yet with the 16.5. I don't foresee it being too much. Like you said, this is probably going to be the last update before Dub. So we'll see where that goes. And then while we were on vacation, Apple did release the Apple Music Classical. It's now available on the App Store. And for those of you who like classical music, this is a pretty cool app. I started looking at it while I was on vacation and installed it. And it does have a lot of good features. The design is very similar to Apple Music. It's got obviously dedication to all classical titles. Has a listen now section where it offers up new releases. So it's basically Apple Music app, but with classical music. So I don't know if have any of you guys explored that app yet to see what it does, or?
I'm a big time classical music fan.
Oh,
so
good.
I've been champing at the bit for this, and it's out. And my first thought was, what the hell, Apple? What were you thinking? Because it's iPhone only. So
that
if
too.
I want to actually take advantage of why I like classical music on Apple Music, which is high-res music files, to get the quality that I want, I have to use an external DAC with my iPhone. So that basically means I'm going to sit at my desk where I have these beautiful Audio Engine A5s, my Shitmodi 3 DAC, and just an amazing audio setup. And I can't use it for the thing that I really want to use it for. So I'm glad we have it, and I'm incredibly frustrated because it's an iPhone only thing right now.
They got to be coming out with an iPad version soon.
How about a Mac version?
A Mac
and
version,
a Mac version as well.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why not. You have a thought, Ben?
I'm with Jeff. The no iPad and Mac versions make no sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a metal guy, so when I listen to classical, it's mostly as a way to keep my mind on tasks rather than rocking out to sticks.
Mm-hmm.
But it just kind of screams of one of those things where they know it's not quite ready, but for brownie points, they want to get it out the door.
Well, they're way late on when they were planning on getting it out.
Exactly, because they bought that company like 2 years ago,
and they said it would be out by 2022. So
yeah, and here we are in the first calendar quarter of 2023, and it's finally happening. And Ben, I think you're right. I think it's out not because it's ready, but because Apple felt they couldn't wait any longer. So they gave us the less damaging option for this, which is limiting it just to the iPhone for right now. And because someone like me with this on my Mac, if there's a problem with it, man, I will know fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they get to say, "Hey, we got it out before WWDC," which is about all they can say.
Yep, I'll be excited when they say, "Hey, the Mac version is rolling out."
Yep, for sure. Moving on here. So glad Barry is here to talk to us this week, and he is such the avid traveler, and he travels around the world, and I thought it'd be great to see if he would give us some of his insights of some of the Apple tech that he uses, what he brings with him, what he thinks is great, what's not so great, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about all the travel gear that you use while you're traveling.
Well, thanks, Dave. Yeah, I'm fortunate that for work, I do get the opportunity to travel both domestically and internationally. And as some of you may have picked up, I literally moved for my job from Chicago to San Francisco. So I took it to an extreme. Opportunity was fantastic, but it really showed where tech is such an integral part of, my life, but also just when you do things like moving, because you have to think about, what do I want to bring to my new apartment because I still have my place in Chicago. That's a longer term, discussion of what the long term plan is. So I had to be thoughtful. I'm like, well, what do I need for the apartment? And there's, the basics of, obviously the iPad and the Mac, and I did buy a studio display out here. But to your point of travel, it's like now I have to think about what I need here, but also from here, I don't have access to, my old man cave full of cables and chargers and things. So I had to be very careful about what do I need is, there's these last minute business trips. I'm going to need chargers. I'm going to need, devices that, I can quickly throw in my backpack or travel bag. So I focused on a couple of them. And these are in the show notes, but I'll talk about what they are. Is that the first one was an Anchor. Basically, it's a travel charger. And what's neat about it is it's gallium nitride. Did I have that right? Gallium nitride. And, so it's a quick charger. It's light, charges quickly. And it's got three power ports. So it's handy if I'm in a hotel, right? I can plug it in. And I can charge or plug in other devices. Sometimes you need to literally plug in the lamp at the hotel because there's no other charge port available. And it's got power, for USB-C. It's got 2 USB-C and 1 USB-A. But what I like about it, it has almost like a rubber band effect of the cord itself. It's like a 3-foot cord, but it wraps within itself and then it has a cover. So it's really convenient.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, it's well designed, and Anchor, I feel, is a very reputable company. They're ex-Google engineers, and you're pushing through a lot of power on a device. You want to make sure you're safe and all that. So that's neat, and that's reasonable. It's like $60, but right now on Amazon there's a 20% discount. So I do have that, and it literally stays in my backpack at all times because it's small enough to do that. So for that was like I plugged in, I've got a long USB-C cord from my iPad, and then I have a USB-C to lightning cable in there as well. And what that goes into is the MagSafe Duo charger from Apple. Now there's lots of different versions of this. Of course, they're supposed to come out with the Power Pad. What was the thing they announced? And they never came out with Air Power. Yeah, but they did come out with this, which is basically a MagSafe charger for your phone or AirPods on one half, and then the watch on the other half, and it folds into itself. So it's really small. And I just plugged that cord into the lightning port of the charger, which is odd that it's lightning, but whatever. And that way also, if I just need to plug in my iPhone for a quick charge, that works as well. So those are that again, that's what stays with me. It's really convenient. And there's different variations of them, but again, 2 reputable companies. So I'm feeling very comfortable that it's a good travel kit that's safe. The other thing I do is I look at one other piece of this, which is very much related to the travel aspect, which is an app, and it's called Flighty. And it's not new. It's been around for a while, but they're constantly doing iterations of it. And at the end of the day, it's primarily a flight tracker, and it alerts you to delays or, here's your gate information. And you can think there are a lot of apps that do that, but this one is tied in somehow into like the FAA database, because I get alerts from them before American or United or whomever I'm flying. And I'm like, well, this is great. And there are nerds that are behind this. So they're tracking the tail number of the plane that I'm going to be flying out on, and it'll tell me where it's flying now the day before. So I see the flight is going from Seattle to Los Angeles and Los Angeles to Phoenix and then to San Francisco. And I can tell from that, oh, it's delayed 20 minutes, and I can see it's going to be delayed 20 minutes coming into San Francisco. So I don't have to run to the gate or whatever. And it's amazingly accurate. It also tells me things like when I'm in flight, they have an offline mode, so it'll estimate about where you're at. So you can gauge about an hour and a half from Chicago. But when you land, it has all these transponders. So it shows you a map of O'Hare, for example, and it will show you all the flights around you. And I'm not exaggerating. So one time I was flying to Chicago from San Francisco. My daughter was flying from Denver to Chicago, and she was delayed. I'm giving her the updates. And then I see she's finally, her flight to Denver took off. Like, here, your flight's going to be there in an hour and a half. You're fine. She's all upset because she's like, oh, I'm going to be delayed by 2 hours. I'm like, hey, guess what? You and I are going to land at about the same time. So as we're flying to Chicago, you saw the flights started to converge towards the Chicago metropolitan area. And if you've flown into O'Hare, there's a turn that they do that flies over Lake Michigan, and then you land at O'Hare. And I'm like, wow, her flight is literally right behind mine. And, you know, we're both on Wi-Fi because we're geeks. And I'm like, hey, Ren, you're literally in the flight behind me. So I landed and I saw her land. And then again, with these transponders, you can see exactly where you are at an airport. And you ever sit at an airport and you're like, you're just not moving, and you're wondering what the heck's going on. The pilot's not saying anything, and you're just, what's going on? And you can see it today. This morning, I landed at San Francisco. There's 2 sets of runways that crisscross, and I saw flights landing, and that's why we're sitting there for 10 minutes. And I'd see these flights coming in, and then all of a sudden there's a gap. It's just nice to kind of know a little bit more about what's happening, especially if you are connecting to a flight and you get a little nervous if your connection is short. So I can't speak highly enough of Flighty. It's a free app to use, but of course they have all sorts of in-app purchases. When they were new, they had a one-time, like, lifetime subscriber. I don't know if they still have that, which turned out to be one of the best purchases I've ever made, because I'm like, I use this all the time. And again, they have a friend's flight feature. So, you know, Dave, if you're ever flying to Vegas for your next vacation, you know, let me know. I'll track the flight for you and text you your updates.
I think I've played with the free version, but the free version is pretty limited, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think you get all the details like I have on there, but it's really something. And you can import it. Trips, if you use something like TripIt or other services, it can import directly, so you don't have to even manually put in the flight info, which is handy when you're spending as much time in the air as I do, for good or bad.
Yeah, they do have
a really cool
lifetime
app.
Yeah,
lifetime $249.
Yep. If you find yourself being a frequent traveler, it's worth it.
Yeah, Barry, I ended up going with Flight Update Pro. Even though every feature in that's in Flighty is absolutely awesome. And the reason I went with Flight Update Pro is because at the time, I was doing like a lot of traveling, and I knew that events were coming up like 6 months in advance, and I'm buying tickets for flight 6 months in advance. And Flight Update Pro was the only app that you could actually log in your flights that early.
Nice.
And so Flight Update Pro, I don't know what it costs. I don't know if you can do like a one-time purchase. I'm doing whatever the subscription is. Sure. And now, since the pandemic started, my travel almost died off completely. So Flighty wasn't necessary for me.
Sure.
But if I were to start traveling a lot again, oh yeah, Flighty would be on my phone. I think that's an excellent pick.
And
I put that in the show notes. It's $2.99, and then you have packs you can buy. Looks like in-app purchases of how many flight alerts you want too. So
competition is a good thing too.
Yeah. Wait, so how much am I paying for Flight Update Pro?
$2.99 is the initial cost of it, the app itself.
Oh, so I paid for it, and now I'm paying what, monthly or annually for extra stuff?
I guess you buy packs. It says it's got there's a bunch of prices listed here, like 20 alerts for $1.99, 50 alerts for $4.99.
Oh, so okay. Well, whatever I paid for it, or am paying for it, I don't know. Maybe it's not a subscription. I have no idea. Yeah. It's been worth it.
Like Barry said, good to have competition with these apps.
Oh yeah, I want
same thing with weather. We've talked about weather lots of times and getting competition for that. So, that's great. And you said the sports alerts you're liking that now.
Yeah, so I just it's not definitely travel related per se, but what I liked they got some buzz when the Dynamic Island came out for the Pro Series phones.
Right.
And I was playing around, like Apple had some of it. Like if you followed a game, it would show up on your phone, but I was struggling with like which sports and which teams. And I'm like, so Sports Alert came out and I think it might be free, but then there's like a $4.99 like option to get some of these features. And it's really nice because it shows you in the Dynamic Island the score of whatever game you're following. So, for me, obviously it's the Chicago White Sox, but then they also do the updates on the screen. And it's just super easy. And they support a lot of different sports. Like they had all the different NCAA brackets you could follow. Not that I know anything about college football, basketball, but it was fun. And I think they've done a really good job with that one.
Absolutely. So, thanks for sharing all of your travel tips, because we're all wondering. I mean, like I just traveled last week, and just it had been quite a while since I had been on the road on a flight and out of my home here, and without knowing what technology I have to bring, or of course have to pack for the family as well, because they never think. So here's your technology pack, honey.
Yes. Yep. You got to make sure everybody has chargers when you land. They don't think about it. It's all you.
Nope.
Yep.
So we took care of that. So before we go ahead and wrap up this week, but we would need to talk about MacStock. MacStock is coming soon. It's going to be in July 22nd and 23rd. And tickets are now available, and the speaker list is filling up. We have both myself and Jeff Gamet going to be speaking this year, which I'm super excited to finally see Jeff in person for like forever. And
It's been, I think it's way too long.
Way too long. And I think the last time you spoke was 2017. I think it was. From that what sounds, Mike. I think Mike Potter said that.
Yeah, I think that's right. 2017. Well, Mike would know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I should know, but Mike definitely knows.
So come. Go to MacStock conferenceandexpo.com. Links in the show notes. Please check that out. Sign up, join us. It's going to be an amazing 2-day event. I'm even going to try to twist Ben's arm a little bit to hopefully he can make it.
You don't have to do much twisting.
Yeah, so we got to get you to come out and have some fun. So I think both Jeff and I are working on our presentations as we speak, and it's a little bit of a work in progress. We got our topics in place, so. We're going to tease that a little bit, so you'll hear about it probably in the future podcast episodes. So come check that out. But Barry Hipolk is here, and I'm so excited. He has brought back the Midwest Mac Barbecue.
Yes,
event.
the return.
It was like, and I always treasure that day that you and I met for the very first time.
It was the first time. You and I lived like 5 minutes apart from each other.
We found out we lived like 5 or 10 minutes away from each other. So so that was like the best event ever for a new guy meeting people for the first time. And now look at me now. It's been 7 years since that happened. 7 or 8 years, and we got quite an Apple community and family that is always a great time here with. That's why it's so worth coming to not only the MacStock but the barbecue. So tell everybody about what you're going to be doing this time.
Sure. So I mean, there is a bit of a backstory to it, right? Mike Potter and I have talked about doing a conference way back in the past when even Macworld was still around, and I just felt that you have that event where you have 30,000 people coming to California. Apple's there. It's hard to do another event of a smaller scale locally, but obviously with Macworld going on hiatus and having a vacuum, it was like maybe the time has come to do something. And I really missed the people aspect, because I would see several of you out there, and it was an event to look forward to every year. So at some point I got a crazy idea that, well, why don't I just throw a barbecue in my backyard? And if you know me or someone that knows me, come on over. And it started with literally, I told my wife, probably about 6 or 10 people will show up.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, little did you know.
Your wife is a saint.
She is, because she did not know anybody, literally anybody that showed up to the event. She had heard names, And everybody that showed up, and I think the total number was around 125. It was crazy because you have all these people in our house in the backyard, and they were amazing. I mean, this is what I love about the Apple community. Everybody was nice. We had 3 different podcasts going at some point. We had a tent in the backyard, and people were cleaning up after themselves. I mean, it was definitely perhaps a divorce-inducing event. And at the end of it, it's probably about 2 a.m. and the last people had just left. And she looked at me, she dead serious. She's like, I would absolutely do this again. And I'm like, okay.
Thank the Lord.
Honey, think about what you're saying. Do you really want to say that?
Hugs.
Yeah. But that's one of the reasons we started talking about it, because she did miss it. And she got to meet a lot of you, and what a wonderful community, because she's not the geeks we are, but she appreciates what this community is. Yeah. So, kind of on and off for a while. And obviously with COVID and other factors, we didn't do anything. And then now me moving out, I'm like, well, I don't know how we're going to do this. But again, in thinking about, the 3 of you and the community, and talking to people like Allison and Dave Hamilton and others, they're like, we're in. If you do this, we'll be there. And that's really all it takes. Right. And, we've just started to put the word out last week on Mike's live stream. Yeah. And I can tell you the numbers are already, again, without anybody like replying officially, it was already in the 20s, which I know will just keep going up. So there is a link in the show notes. You can go to my website, which is barryfalk.com. Or you go to MacStock's website, and there's a simple form that just emails me with, who are you? How do you know me? How many people are attending? Just so I can gauge, because I'll do the barbecue. We'll have different food and drinks. So if you don't like barbecue, you're a vegetarian or vegan, we'll take care of you. And last time I've been doing these events, we did them on site at some of the MacStocks. This is back in the backyard. But, we have craft beer, we have soft drinks, water, whatever. But in the last few years, between COVID and travel and the fact that I'm in California, I've become quite a wine guy. So if you're watching live stream, you've seen my glass show up a few times. And I thought it'd be fun to maybe make it a little bit of a wine event, do a tasting or 2 over the evening and talk about what I've learned about wines, because I do enjoy it. It's a passion of mine. And I just think it'd be great. So definitely hope to see anybody who's listening or watching the stream. Please, reach out. If you can make it to MacStock, it's worth it on its own. Yeah, totally. If you can get there 2 days earlier. So most people fly in Friday. I'm going to do it on a Thursday, because in the past you'd be really tight trying to do an event Friday night, and then people have to drive an hour out to Woodstock, where MacStock is held. So we're like, well, we'll do Thursday. I thought maybe it'll also keep the numbers a little bit down. I'll probably be wrong.
Yeah, I'm sure you're wrong.
But I am super excited to do this again, and I cannot wait to see everybody. So reach out if you have any questions, and I've already talked to a bunch of the people who have attended in the past, and they're already like, yeah, we're definitely in. So let me know. And I live close to O'Hare. Yeah, well, I already sorry, Dave, I already put you down as a yes. I know. But yeah,
did you put me down as a solid maybe?
I put you down as well. We'll see what Jeff's up to.
I am so looking forward to seeing you and your whole family there.
Well,
it's been way too long, Barry.
Absolutely. So
me too.
Very excited. But thank you, Dave, for having me on and able to talk about it. I really, really appreciate it.
No. And just happy to have you on, because you always give some great insights in Apple. I mean, and just a small reason why you came on, but so glad you were able to make it here. So, but yeah, come out to MacStock, and all the links are in the show notes. So I'll make sure the link to the actual form is from the MacStock website. That's probably the best way to go to register. But come on, Thursday.
I've seen both of you speak. You guys do such a fantastic job. I mean, it's worth it to see it. Just that.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. So, it's all every year. We always have that challenge of what's my topic going to be. I finally narrowed down my topic, so I'm happy now.
This year, it was not a problem for me at all.
No, I figured.
I knew what my topic was going to be before I even knew if I was going to be able to be a part of Max Stock.
Yeah. Don't forget, I've done it six times prior, so
Yeah.
I don't want to be duplicating duplicating what I've done in the past here. I want to come up with something a little different. So, but come check it out. All the links there, and thank you guys for being here this week. This was great, and let's go ahead and wrap things up for this week. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Twitter at InTouchWithIOS. You also could follow us on Mastodon at InTouchWithIOS. You can find us there. And as well as support the show by buying me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We'd really appreciate it. You can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We'd really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you're notified when we are live streaming, which usually is at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. We did an hour later this week just to accommodate our good friend Barry. That's on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/intouchwithios. Thanks to all the folks that were in the chat room. Paul, thanks for being there this week, and many others that were watching the show. So we are there, and you can watch past shows and you can listen to past shows. Visit In Touch with iOS magazine on Flipboard, where many of the topics we discuss are flipped into that magazine. The link is in our show notes. You can subscribe to the show in your favorite podcatcher, including Podcasts, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, and many others. But better yet, go to our website at intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Mastodon at DaveG65 at mastodon.cloud. Barry Falk, again, thank you so much. I'm so thrilled you were here this week, and please let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, generally speaking, Instagram's a good place to hang out. FulkB, FULKB. I do have a Mastodon account that I do check regularly, and that's also FulkB at friendsofdesoto.social. So if you know the Star Trek reference, which kudos to Ben, you absolutely nailed that one. Great job.
And Ben Rethick, always great to have you here on the show. And where can people find you?
Well, Dave, you can find me at social media at Ben Rathick. I'm pretty easy to find because I'm the only Ben Rathick on the planet. You can also find me on my website, rathick.tech. Yes, that has been updated since the last time I've been on.
That's new.
Yes. Yeah, Patrice finally Patrice and Jeff finally got me into buying the domain.
Good.
You can find me Thursdays and Fridays on the British Tech Network, and most Tuesdays on Mac Voices with Chuck Joyner.
Thanks so much, Ben. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Jeff Gamet, thank you as always for being here. It's always a thrill. Where can people find you?
It's always a blast to get to hang out with you. Well, with all of you. I just love this. Okay, so on socials, I am Jay Gamet. Where I'm most active right now would be Mastodon and Instagram, and then actually, so DeSoto. I'm assuming Pegasus reference.
It's
Nope.
he's the kid. Nope. Ben, I'll give you the honors.
USS Hood, NCC 42 something.
Oh,
something,
right,
something.
right. Okay,
Yeah.
I had
Excelsior
the
class.
wrong ship that Riker was on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, got it now. Thank
Yeah,
you for setting me straight on that.
Yeah, 42296.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
He was famous for saying something about you Galaxy guys get all the good missions, while we Excelsior guys just run around stuff in
Yes.
Federation space.
But Riker served under DeSoto, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
think so,
Okay.
yeah.
That's why I had it mixed up. So
Yep.
I had the wrong captain on the wrong ship, but the right Riker.
Yes.
Got it.
Mhm.
Okay. Anyhow, so shows you can find me on. Apparently, you can find me on Dave's In Touch with Star Trek recording right now.
Right now. You read my mind.
Yep. Okay. So most Tuesdays, Mac Voices Live, Chuck Joyner show that Dave is basically always on, and Ben at this point, you're basically always on too.
Yep.
And then on Thursdays early in the day, the big show on British Tech Network. Then Dave keeps letting me back on Thursday nights on In Touch with iOS. Thank you for that. Then Fridays, the Mac show, and then the Context Machine. Brian Chaffin and I are recording together again too.
It's always a great show too. And yes, I'm on the Mac show as well. We have just an absolute blast on the British Tech Network. So thank you all for being here. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. We enjoyed doing it. And I really appreciate you listening. And we'll talk again soon. Thank you, guys.
That was loads of fun.
Awesome.
That
Very
was
good.
Awesome. Really
So
appreciate it.
I need to start getting coordinated with people for travel logistics.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Try to get in if you can Thursday, anytime after 12. I mean, I don't care when people arrive.
I'll even pick you up.
There you go.
Dude.
Now you're talking. And I'd recommend staying, so I live in Des Plaines, so Rosemont Des Plaines is right by the airport. Stay for the one night. That's what Dave Hamilton and John are doing. And then drive up the next day, or go to Chicago for the day and then drive up. I mean, whatever.
You're better off.
My plan is flying on Thursday, stay the night, and so I should probably coordinate with Dave and John for that, so that that gets easier, and then go up on Friday.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Get you up there.
Dave, you'll have to let me know, because I reached out to Corky, and so I know he's doing some logistics and stuff. But
awesome.
It's one of those things. And
Well,
Mike and I.
Let me end this live stream so we can.
Bye live